Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general reading taking in the effects of the total eclipse. Now this is a fairly big event compared to some of the events that have happened in 2020. It's not an enormous event, but it is setting the stage for an enormous event with the great or grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn coming up on the solstice. It is a total eclipse, so it does have extra whammy. I mean, an eclipse is an eclipse, but the fact that it's total has that little bit of extra whammy. Now, I've covered, with astrologer David Fischer, I have covered the astrology of this total eclipse in some detail in a show that we've called 2020 season finale, which link for which will be down in the description. This is a general reading. I am looking at the energies, but I am looking for your sign. It's the same intro for everybody, timestamp as normal. So what's your sun, your moon, your rising? This I'm using oracle cards rather than a tarot Celtic cross this time, because this is a time for setting priorities. This is a time for working out how to manifest the next timeline that you want once we have the grand conjunction cycle change into the air signs. You either know what that means or it doesn't, but basically December the 21st, really big aspect coming up, sets the stage for the next 20 years and for the next 200 years and quite possibly 800 years. Again, refer to the 27 grand season finale. But what I will cover is the angels and demons that are looking after this. We have Michael, who represents, fertility, fruitfulness, unity. So there is a push towards coming together. And also what we set into motion now will hopefully get bigger. Now that has a good side and a bad side, because the two Goetic spirits that rule this decan, we have Renove, who is a favourite of mine. Astrologically, he can represent slavery, but magically, Renove is, I feel like I'm being rude, but he's hideously ugly and absolutely and utterly charming. You've heard me talk about him before if you've watched my readings before. He was a demon that went around the medieval world spreading peace and diplomacy wherever he went. You know, so he shows that no matter what the obstacle is, i.e. the hideous ugliness, it can be overcome by his charmingness. That a solution can always be found. Now, he rules this, if I remember correctly, by day. Let me just double check that. I'm sure it's by day. Yes, and by night, then Andras is the Goetic spirit in charge of that decan. Now, Andras astrologically, I'm sorry, I'm saying it with that little roll of the R because his name reminds me so much of Zathras of Babylon 5. But Andras astrologically represents folly. So it means that we are called upon to take great thought in what we are planning to do, because whatever plans we set into motion will be fruitful. Andras also is a warmonger spirit. He enjoys bloodshed for the sake of it. So you have that really obvious choice. Unity, as represented by Michael and Renove, or division, as represented by Andras. So whatever you're doing, I would say it's a good idea to make sure that your plan involves people coming together rather than drawing a battle line and go in charge. You know, there's because that will help set up, either way will help set up the energies ready for that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. As I say, I discussed it a lot further in the 2020 grand season finale. So, season finale, sorry, no grand about it. So general reading rules apply. It's not really a predictive reading. I'll be using tarot to clarify the oracle cards. But what we are doing is looking at the energies that we could use, or if I dare use the word should, that we are advised to use to send your energy forward to create the best timeline for not just you, but for you and yours. And that's the important thing that I want to draw out, certainly with Mihail and Renove, giving that message of unity. This is not just for you, this is for you and yours. What you set into motion now affects more than just you. No shit, Sherlock. So, what's your sun, your moon, and your rising sign? There's a link in the description down below, one for the season finale, but two for the Facebook page for this group. I put these videos up. I put the astrology weather forecast style videos that I watch up, because I try and make it a bit of a one-stop shop. And it's got its own inbox, so if you want to contact me for a personal reading, that's one of the best ways to do it. Well, it's the best way to do it. Also down there's a Linktree link that will give you my Twitter, my Tumblr, and all the various different paths that you can take to contact me. But Facebook's the best bet, really. It gets checked the most often, or even better, my phone tells me what's going on. So yeah, I think I will bring up your cards. I'm sure there was something else I was going to say, but no, let's crack on and bring up the cards. Okay, Gemini, this total eclipse is occurring in your 7th house. So the area of your life about long-term significant partners, romantic, business, family, and I am tempted to say, you know, best friends and spirit. Because your reading's a weird one. We start with Prometheus in the mythic oracle representing altruism. This is the god that brought fire to mankind and was punished for it. There was something else that I think there is one or two myths that accredit him to creating one of the versions of mankind. Saint Jude, saving grace here. It was very much one of the, well, I mean, all the disciples were spiritual, but never taking centre stage, but has been announced in visions as the patron saint of the impossible. And then, so we start with the cunning source of genesis of altruism matched with the King of Staves, King of Wands. So there is an action that you will have the opportunity of seeing a significant action where you can do the right thing. And it may well, the King of Wands only acts, he can act and he can act fast, but he only acts when he needs to. But there looks like there is a pressing need, with St. Jude here clarified by the Ace of Wands about moving forward. And moving forward was something that seems impossible, seems way out there, because the final 3 cards, we have Kundalini rising, ignite your passion for life. So it's talking about doing something that you love, doing something that you are really passionate about, but it's also talking about one of those really significant events, one of those really out there events. And I say out there because the next card from the Hero's Something Oracle, Hero's Journey Oracle, is Be the Bridge. Expand your consciousness to behold both worlds. Both worlds. What both worlds? This world, obviously, and what world? Well, look at our last card, Fairy. And spelt the old way, meaning the old way. This is a card that says, go out and see the magic in nature. Go out and see the magic in the world. Be aware of the spirits that are guardians of things of nature, and if you wish, join their number. And I'm not saying wander off into the mists, into the other world, and get tricked and lost by the Fae. I'm saying no, assist them in their guardianship. Not all guardians of nature have to be Fae. They can be human as well. I mean, we see that a lot of the time with environmental campaigners, wildlife rescuers, all those sort of things. So there really is a sense of mystery coming up. You are recognized and are recognizing that there is a really significant spiritual event happening for you, Gemini. And why shouldn't there be? This, if you're Gemini sun, this eclipse is directly opposite your sun. It's creating that tension, creating that harmony. I know I'm saying harmony and tension in the same phrase, but I do actually mean it that way. But it's also, the eclipse hides something from your vision. But I'm rather thinking that whatever is hidden from your vision, what is revealed by that thing being hidden, is where the event is where you suddenly find, yeah, I want to go forward for this. So for you, Gemini, they would say on an eclipse, don't do rituals, or don't go out into the eclipse. And even I said on the astrology video I did with David, don't go out into the eclipse. Don't, try and avoid it if you can. But this looks like a very, very beautiful experience. But then again, it doesn't have to be on the day of the eclipse, does it? These are energies that will be with us definitely, according to David, a couple of months. According to general astrological law, within 6 months. But with the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction coming up, this should be a really intense couple of weeks, and something really beautiful and really possibly weird will be occurring for you to springboard you into that new world that the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is heralding. And the reason that I say that, be the bridge, is typified by the moon. Now the moon, you can see lies and deception and decay, but I'm seeing the beautiful reflected light of somewhere else from the moon. I'm seeing the twin towers, showing that polarity, showing the two worlds that you are bringing something from an other realm. I don't want to say a higher realm, because that sounds a little bit elitist really, but an other realm that has some beauty and wisdom within it into this realm. And maybe that's a two-way trade. Maybe you are giving something back. I mean, fairies do tend to take things, preferably not your children. But fairies do tend to take things. You can give a gift to a fairy. In fact, it's rude not to. And the fairy is clarified here by the world. So it's almost like the light, by you being the bridge, the light of that moon is hitting that world, and it's bringing the elements together under the watchful eyes of the Fae, under the watchful eyes of spirit. But you've started this. King of Wands, Ace of Wands. You are the one that started this going. You are the one that's started the ball rolling here with Prometheus. He was a creator. He was an inventor. But whatever you started the ball rolling on, with the influence of St. Jude here, it's like, wow, I did not expect that. I did not expect something as beautiful, as profound as that. Now, when we're saying beautiful and profound, that doesn't always, I'm certainly with him, with the presence of the Fae, that doesn't always say that it's going to be a positive experience in the short term. But what these cards do promise is that whatever this is, in the long term, it is definitely a positive experience. In the long term, you will be glad that this happened, that you took whatever action to move into this bridging two worlds. I mean, it could be something more mundane, like getting two people to talk to one another who, up until that point, absolutely hated one another. Bridging an argument between two parts of a family, or even two families that are rowing with one another. There's all so many ways that you can read this, but I'm going to stick with the weird ones because they are fun. And this looks like there is a beautiful experience coming your way. Whether you see the beauty at the time or whether you see the beauty afterwards, you will eventually see the beauty of it. And it is bringing new energies onto the planet, into your world. So whether that's a narrow thing or a global perspective, you know, personal or global, I should say personal rather than narrow. But, you know, like highly localized or spread right across the solar system. It doesn't matter. You are bringing new energies in, and it is a beautiful experience that does it. Okay, Gemini. What I forgot to say at the start is to the YouTube business of please like, share and subscribe. And there will be more readings soon. Go and check your moon sign, go and check your rising sign. And if you haven't checked it out already, have a look at the 2020 season finale video David and I did. Cheers.